Okay, so here are 4 more 3D shapes. And the question is asking us which shapes are cones. Now think back to when I showed you the different 3D shapes. What did a cone have? Did it have any curved surfaces? Did it have any flat faces? Well, what I'd like you to do is pause the video and see if you can spot the cones. Okay, so if I think back to when I showed you the different 3D shapes, I remember that a cone had a point at the top, didn't it? Now, what else did a cone have? Well, it had a flat face at the bottom, but what shape was this flat face? Oh, yes, it was a circle, wasn't it? And then it also had one curved surface. So let's have a look at the first shape. Well, look, the first shape has a point at the top. It has a curved surface and look, it even has a flat face at the bottom, which is a circle. So therefore, that is a cone. Now, what about the second shape? Well, the second shape does have a point at the top. Can you see? But does it have a flat face, which is a circle at the bottom? Well, it does have a flat face, but the face is in the shape of a square, isn't it? And what about the sides? Well, remember a cone has one curved surface, doesn't it? But no, this shape has flat faces on the side and they are in the shape of triangles. So therefore, no, this is not a cone because it doesn't have a curved surface or a flat face at the bottom, which is a circle. But what was this shape called? Oh, yes, that's right. It was called a pyramid, wasn't it? And it had a square face at the bottom and it had triangle faces on the sides with a point at the top. Now, what about the next one? Oh, well, this one does have a curved surface, doesn't it? And it also has a flat face at the bottom, which is a circle. But what is it missing at the top? Oh, yes, our cone has a point at the top, doesn't it? But this shape has another flat face at the top, which is in the shape of a circle. So therefore, no, this is not a cone. Can you remember what this shape is called? Yes, you're right. It's called a cylinder. Remember, like our tin of beans at home. Okay, now what about the last one? Now this shape is sideways, isn't it? But does it have a point, a curved surface and a flat face at the bottom, which is in the shape of a circle? Well, yes, it does. Look, it's a cone on its side. So therefore we can tick that shape. Okay, Year 2. So what I'd like you to do now is on your resource, Year 2 Maths, 2nd of March, Resource 1, you have a matching activity like we did with the 2D shapes. Can you match the 3D shapes to their names? Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so let's have a look at our next question. Well, in our next question, we have a tally chart. And the tally chart is going to show how many different 2D shapes, sorry, not 2D shapes, 3D shapes that we have. Okay, so we're going to have some pyramids, some cylinders, and some cones. Now let's start with the pyramids. Well, can I see any pyramids? I remember that a pyramid has a point at the top. It's got some flat surfaces on the side, some flat faces, which are in the shape of a triangle. And it's got a square flat face at the bottom, hasn't it? Now, can I see any of those? Oh, yes, look, I can see one here. That's a pyramid, isn't it? Look, it's got the flat surfaces, which are triangles on the sides. It's got the point at the top and it's got a square flat face at the bottom. So I can add that to my tally mark, to my tally chart, sorry, because I've crossed it out. Now, can I see any others? Ah, yes, I can see the green one. Can you see it too? That's another pyramid, isn't it? Because it has a point at the top, some flat faces on the sides, which are triangles, and a square flat face at the bottom. So again, I can add that to my tally chart. Remember, you add one tally mark for each one, don't you? One tally mark represents one shape. So are there any other pyramids? No, I can't see any others because all of the shapes that are left have a curved surface, don't they? And a pyramid doesn't. So let's move on to cylinders now and cones. Could you pause the video and see if you could complete the tally chart for cylinders and cones? Okay, Year 2, so let's have a look together. Well, cylinders. What do we remember about cylinders? Well, I remember a cylinder is like a tin of beans, isn't it? It has two flat faces, one at the top and one at the bottom, which are circles. And it also has a curved surface as well, doesn't it? Well, I can see there's a blue one here. Can you see it too that I've just crossed out? So that is our first cylinder. So well done if you spotted that. We can add it to our tally chart. Now, can we see any others? Ah, yes. Can you see that there is another one there, an orange one, and it's on its side, isn't it? Even though it's on its side, it's still a cylinder because it has two flat faces, which are circles, and it has one curved surface as well. So again, now I've crossed it out, I can add that to my tally. And then do I have any others? Do I have any others that have a curved surface and two flat faces, which are circles? Yes, look, I have another one here, so I can add that to my tally as well. Okay, now we're on to cones. Now I remember that a cone has a point at the top, it has a flat face, which is a circle at the bottom, and it has a curved surface. Now I can see a red one here. Can you see it too? So I can add that to my tally chart. And I can also see the one on its side there as well. So I can cross that out and add that to our tally chart as well. So there we go. We have crossed out all of our 3D shapes. So well done if you completed that tally chart correctly. So now let's have a look at the totals. Okay, now how many tally marks do we have for pyramids? Well, I can see that we have 2 tally marks. So therefore, we have 2 pyramids. Now, what about cylinders and cones? Could you pause the video and find the total number of cylinders and cones? Okay, so did you manage to complete our tally chart? Fantastic. So let's have a look at cylinders. How many tally marks do we have? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3 tally marks. So we have got 3 cylinders. And how many cones have we got? Well, we've got 2 tally marks next to cones, which means we have 2 cones. So well done if you completed that correctly. Now, your task now, like we did with the 2D shapes, is to go on a 3D shape hunt around your house or your garden if you have one, okay? Remember, we write down the items that we find on the first, and then we write, and then we create a tally chart for the different shapes that we found on the second one, okay? So we write down as we're walking around the house all of the 3D shapes that we find, and then we create a tally chart from what we found, okay? Now you will find all of this on your worksheet, Year 2 Maths, 2nd of March, Resource 2. So if you could pause the video now and go on your 3D shape hunt. Okay, Year 2, so did you find lots of different 3D shapes in your house? Fantastic. So now we're going to look at just one problem-solving question together. So here is your problem-solving question. It asks you to circle all the shapes that could have made this print. Now remember, if a 3D shape has a flat face, then it is in the shape of a 2D shape, isn't it? So for example, some of our shapes had flat faces that were circles, some had flat faces which were squares, some had flat faces which were rectangles. Okay, there were lots of different flat faces which took the shape of a 2D shape. Now it's telling us here that one of these shapes has made a print, and we can see that the print there is in the shape of a square, isn't it? Now let's have a look at our first shape here. Well, we can see our first shape is a cube, isn't it? Now what shape are the flat faces on a cube? Well, yes, they are squares, aren't they? So could our cube have made this print here? Well, yes, it could have, because our print is in the shape of a square, isn't it? So yes, we can circle that cube because it could have made that print because it has a flat face. It has 6 flat faces which are in the shape of a square. Now, I would like you to pause the video and have a look at the pyramid. And we've also got a hexagonal prism, which we haven't learnt today, but you can see the shape of the flat face, so you'll be able to know if it made that print. Could you pause the video and see if you can work out whether these 2 shapes could have made the print here? Okay, Year 2. So we've got the pyramid, which is upside down, but can you remember the shape of the flat face at the bottom of a pyramid? Ah, yes, it was a square, wasn't it? So therefore, yes, our pyramid could have made this print because its flat face at the bottom is a square. Now, what about the shape, the 3D shape the hexagonal prism. Wow, we can see on the side that it has got a flat face, which is in the shape of a rectangle. Now, is our print in the shape of a rectangle? No, it's not, is it? It's in the shape of a square. But what about its other sides? Well, we have got a hexagon here. Now, it's got two flat faces, which are hexagons. Now, this print isn't a hexagon, is it? So could this shape have made this print if it's got faces that are rectangles and faces that are hexagons? No, it couldn't, could it? Because our print is a square, and this shape has no flat faces, which are squares. So well done if you were able to spot that the pyramid could have made this print, as well as the cube, because they both have flat faces, which are squares. Okay, so now you have got a problem-solving question which is similar to the one we've just looked at, okay? And you'll find this on your resource, Year 2 Maths, 2nd of March, Resource 3. Okay, so if you could get on with your problem-solving question, that would be fantastic. And I will see you in our next maths lesson. Bye.